Welcome to this special episode of Finding the Upside. I'm your host, Maria DeLorenzis Reyes, and today I'm bringing you straight to the heart of our Revive and Thrive 2025 event, which was held at the beautiful Archer Hotel in Florham Park, New Jersey this past June. Today you're going to hear clips from 3 powerful presentations, including my own, that are designed to challenge the way you think about using your voice in leadership, influence, and for personal growth. Now, these are just quick tastes of these big, powerful talks. If you want to watch the full presentations, complete with all the strategies and insights, you can find them inside our Business Leaders Hub, which is linked in the show notes of how to get access. All right, let's jump into this first highlight right now.
Being an influential voice means you have an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy with what you say, how you say it, and who you are impacting. I'm a former dancer. I had the opportunity to dance all around the world: Palermo, Lisbon, Brooklyn Academy of Music, Lincoln Center, Paris Opera, Vienna Opera House, and I didn't know then that I had an influential voice because the way I expressed myself was through dance and choreography. But I came to know very quickly that the impact I had on an audience by moving was equally as profound and important as when I began to use my voice. New York City, 2001. On September 10th, I performed between the 2 towers. There was a festival that happened in New York City every summer between the World Trade Center towers. And I was down there with one of the companies I was dancing with, and we were performing. And it was rainy that day. And I remember thinking, it's so strange they make us show ID to go to the bathroom. But there was heightened security, not knowing what the next day would unfold. I was whisked on the subway underneath the river to Brooklyn at the front of the water, where I saw the first tower on fire. If you are all local, you understand when I say you can't comprehend what that means. Your brain can't comprehend what's happening. It's impossible. And I was standing there watching across the river as the plane hit the next tower, still completely unclear as what's happening, how do I process this as a human being, as somebody who's watching something. And then the towers started to fall and the sound took over. And the papers and the smoke and the ash. And I was in Brooklyn for the rest of the day, wandering around trying to figure out what to do. Covered in ash, like everyone else from across the river. I finally was able to get onto the subway and get back home, probably at 9 o'clock at night at that point. And they were playing God Bless America in the subway. There was no one on the subway. I was a dancer. I didn't take, Uber wasn't a thing, I didn't take cars. I was on the subway. So I get home, they shut down Manhattan from 14th Street below, and so I had to show ID to get home because I lived on 11th Street. So there was nobody on the streets, there was no cars, there was nothing. And I get a call the next day from a company I was working with, Big Dance Theater, and the artistic director said, we're gonna keep performing, we're gonna do the show. This particular theater was the Kitchen, which is on 12th Avenue, below 14th Street, which meant when we went to the theater on 12th Avenue, all we saw were ambulances and fire trucks, and we all had a metallic taste in our mouth, and they wanted us to go on with the show, and I thought, why? Why are we doing this? There's a lot of important things we need to be doing in the world, and performing in a theater doesn't feel like it's one of them. However, We did go on with the show. We did perform. And there was a beautiful small audience, probably the size of this incredible room, who met us in the lobby of the theater and thanked us for performing for them and for reminding them how art can heal and how sharing our expression through art with them allowed them to see the good in humanity. This is what being an influential voice means. You have no idea how you're going to impact people or when, and why it's important to continue doing the work you're doing and to use your voice responsibly and generously. When it comes to being an influential voice in your community, how are you communicating in service of the greater good? The charities that Maria has attached to her business is a great example of being an influential voice when it comes to expressing your care about your community. So I want you to think bigger when it comes to being an influential voice. It is not limited to just being on a big stage. It's every interaction you have with someone. It's every decision you make of how you're going to show up and how you're going to use your voice. Part of being an influential voice also means understanding what you care about. What are you passionate about? If you're unclear about what you're passionate about, what gets you out of bed? What lights your fire? What do you think about every day, all day long? And if you're doing something that you know, when you're truthful with yourself, that is not your passion, rethink what it is you're doing. If you really want to get out of bed every morning and cook, make new recipes, paint, whatever it is, give yourself permission to honor what that is and pivot, reframe what it is you're doing. Once you are clear on what you care about and what you're passionate about, you are unstoppable as an influential voice.
Can I share something personal with you to start? You have no choice. I'm going to do it anyway. I am that my commitment is so strong that it makes waves. I am that my ability to create and attract the life that I want is infinite. I am the truth, and that sets myself and others free. I am that I only say yes to the things that matter, and I am fully present. I am a servant leader. I am that when I speak, lives are impacted for the better. I am that when I listen, others feel more seen and more heard than they have ever felt before. I am possibility. I am transformation. I am that what others think about me is none of my effing business. I am unoffendable. I am that my body's my sanctuary, and I'm more committed to my health now than I've ever been. I am a strong and vibrant energy. I am that I belong in the presence of greatness, and I am that greatness is attracted to me. I am unwavering patience and love for my wife, Jonna, and my two boys, Leo and Rome. I am all of that, and I'm no better than anyone else. And my name is Sal. Thank you for allowing me to start with that. And I want you to know those words are not all about me. I hope that you saw a little bit of yourself in those words. And my goal today is to help you craft what that looks like for you. Because the truth is, those words are not what they sound like. They're not just words. They're not just affirmations. Every one of those statements that I just shared with you comes from a deeply embedded thought, a judgment that I had about myself that was really keeping me paralyzed. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is not something that I created. This is something that I've been blessed to have experienced from incredible coaches, leaders, and mentors in my life. But it is something that I practice every day, something that I've embodied and I've made a part of who I am. And so today is about you. Today's about helping you craft your personal manifesto. My ask of you is that you engage. Some of this may be a little bit confronting, but I want you to engage with me, with the room, and I want you to share. The last thing I want to do is hear myself speak for 20 minutes. So I need your participation. Let's have some fun with it, and let's go deep. If you're in, let me get a let's go. I like it. All right. Well, so today is about not listening to yourself. We listen to ourselves, and we can paralyze ourselves with those thoughts, as many of the other speakers have shared. So why are we not talking to ourselves? Why are we not declaring who we are and showing up and living up to that each and every day? So I want you to think about, let's get right into it today. Well, who here has been to London? Okay. I'm going to get to you guys in a second. Let's go with someone who hasn't. Julie, tell me about London.
It's a metropolitan city. It's in Europe. What? Rains a lot. Yeah, the weather's not that great. Has a lot of diversity, arts, culture.
Amazing. Someone who's been to London, tell me about London.
London has the best fish and chips and minted peas. You can walk around all the gardens at the Queen's Palace in London and get lost for hours taking pictures. And the Ferris wheel is pretty fun.
Amazing. So I've never been. To me, London is cold, rainy, and the food isn't that great. That's my judgment of London. Julie had hers. You had yours back there, Shannon, right? So what is it? It's really a mix of what we think it is, the judgments that we bring to it. And we're doing this to people in our lives. We're doing this to events in our lives each and every day.
Sal Rametta's message about crafting your personal manifesto and declaring who you are is such a powerful reminder of the stories we carry about ourselves. Up next, I'm stepping onto the stage to present a talk of my own, a conversation about the cost of playing small, where I challenge you to own your expertise and charge what you're worth. Let's dive in right now. So why, when it comes to our own expertise, our knowledge, our years of experience, our results, our impact, do we minimize that and hesitate to say the same thing? Here's another story that I'll share with you. A while back, my family and I, we went to this remote island in the Bahamas, and the only way that you could get to this resort was either to fly into Nassau and take like 6 boats, or fly to Florida and charter a plane. It was something that I always wanted to do. I had it on my list, but I never flew one of these planes. I never flew a prop plane, so I was pretty nervous. And when I met the pilot, something shifted. Confident pilot. After we loaded up, we're like in our seats, and I'm thinking, how's this gonna go? Like, do they do the safety demo? Like, where are the parachutes or the life preservers, life vest or whatever? And he kind of really didn't even say to put on the seatbelt. So he kind of was doing his checks and doing everything, and then he turned around and yeah, seatbelts, yeah. And I was like, and he goes, I do this 750 times a year, you're good. And I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'm good. And shortly after we took off, mid-flight, he leaned back, pushed his chair back, had his hands up behind his head, relaxing, because apparently it's all instrumentation once you get it up off the ground. I didn't know that. He ate his lunch. Right? But in that moment, I felt totally safe. Why? Because confidence is calming. Certainty builds trust. He didn't need to say much. His ownership of that skill and his expertise was all I needed to know that I was in good hands. Now think about how this applies to you, to your business, to what you ask for when you're going on an interview for a job, your career. Are you owning your own worth like that pilot? Or are you approaching things with a level of uncertainty and wondering like, I don't know if I have this, or I have this, I'm the best there is. Or worse, are you wondering if you even should be on the runway? Something else that I want you to consider. Let me tell you about a conversation I had with my friend McCall. We were talking about, this actually completely reframed how I think about value, my own value. We were talking about my work, my experience, the kind of results I deliver. She asked me a question that really floored me. She said, "What's your replication cost?" I'm like, huh? What? What's that? She said, "Your replication cost. What would it take for someone to replicate what you know and what you provide?" She's like, if somebody decides not to work with you, not to pay for your services, what you're charging, what would it take for them to go get that all themselves? Stop me in my tracks, gotta be honest. She's asking me to account for all the years, the investments, the lessons, the growth, and actually add it up? Okay. So I started to think about it. 35 plus years experience working in corporate America and as an entrepreneur, building and scaling my own business from nothing and helping clients do the same. Experience working inside multi-million and billion-dollar companies. Experience in product development, customer service, leadership, training, re-engineering business processes. 1,600 companies across 8 industries that I've worked with. Over 6,000 presentations, I know you've heard some of these metrics already, and over 4,000 people trained. Nearly $1 million, maybe more, in my own education, learning, development, certifications, mentorship, and personal and professional development. And that just scratches the surface because some things you can't even quantify, right? I've lived it, I've built it, I've learned, I've failed over and over and over again. And the truth is, if someone passed on working with me, they'd have to dedicate decades, not just dollars, to replicate that. And even then, some of those things you couldn't replicate because lived wisdom isn't downloadable. You can't buy it off the shelf. So now, when I think about what I charge, I don't ask, what would somebody pay for an hour of my time? I think about, what's the value of everything they're going to get access to in that hour? And that, my friends, is what it means to charge your worth. And that's a wrap on this special Revive and Thrive highlight episode. Those were just 3 quick snapshots of much deeper presentations from the event. There's so much more waiting for you in the full versions. You can access those full presentations plus other exclusive resources for you as a business leader or someone who's ready to up their game inside our Business Leaders Hub. The link is right there in the show notes waiting for you, so check it out for more insights. Thanks for joining me here on Finding the Upside. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.